So I don't think the US has anything to fear in this. How do the central bank digital currencies fit in? Well, we don't know.
I think there are a lot of parts of the market that are navigating this very, very well, but we are facing exactly what the Fed has been talking about as well.
This is not the market structure you would design if you were starting from scratch. And it's something that's been layered on year after year and decade after decade.
And XRP, they're also working on this solution too. And I think they're all the same thing, meaning they will all exist together because, it's a multi-project world out there, and all of these systems will end up being interoperable. So maybe some money that starts in one country starts using XRP rails, but ends up using Bitcoin rails and then CBDC rails, and we won't even notice. Because in the end, we don't know. I don't know what computer you're using, what Wi-Fi you're using, what internet type you're using, what modem you're using, what software, nothing, right?
Of course.
I just connect and I'm talking to you.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what money's going to be like. So, you heard my crypto story. So I invested, first time was 2012. It went up 100% in a month. And I was like, holy shit. And I sold it. Then I bought some again in 2013, and I held that through all the way to 2017. And then I sold out too early into the bull market because there was having these Bitcoin forks going on. I'm like, I don't understand any of this. I'm out. Could this whole thing fail? Could it all move to a different chain? I don't know.
Yeah, Bitcoin Cash nearly overtook at one point, didn't it?
That's right.
Very close, yeah.
And I'm like, no, I don't know. It's beyond my skill set. And then I was out. I've been following the space for a while, and I was out of it until 2019, when a good friend of mine, Dan Tapiero, who you can see, there's some great interviews on our YouTube channel or on Real Vision, basically persuaded me all over again. Hey, listen, Raoul, it's time to get back in again. So I started doing the work on it again, and then the point came. I always knew that the macro world of investing with too much debt and these aging demographics and all the problems in the financial system, the next recession, they were going to meet crypto, and they were going to become the same thing because crypto was the solution and this was the problem. And so as soon as the recession came, so crypto collapsed, and I'm like, okay, this is the signal. This is the chance to get in, because the most likely outcome is this explodes higher. So I started buying back in March last year, and I was all Bitcoin. I was up until maybe June, July, I was still investing in other stuff. And then I said, look, this is the single best opportunity we're ever going to be given in our lives. And I'm going all in. So every single penny of cash that I had, I put into Bitcoin. I mean, 100% of everything I had, and anything I earned that was excess cash, I put into this. So this was not a small bet. This was like, fuck it, I'm doing it.
Selling your bet.
Because everything I'd ever studied about the macro and crypto itself, this was the time. If it was going to happen, now was it. And the chart pattern was great. So I then by about September, I started realizing that if you ever talk about anything not Bitcoin, you get attacked on Twitter, where I've got quite a big presence. And I'm like, why is that? So I started kind of observing that, and I could see that there was a feeling of threat, because these are built around network effects, and you're trying to stop anybody else eating away from your network, even though the reality is the whole space is growing and it's not Bitcoin, but there was this prevailing narrative. So that got me starting to think, and I started looking at the charts of Ethereum, thinking, Ethereum's going to outperform Bitcoin. So I start digging in. I usually start with a chart. I see that chart and go, okay, I'm going to do some work on Ethereum. So I start doing some work on Ethereum, and I figured out that Ethereum followed the Metcalfe's law adoption model. And as far as I knew, nobody had done this work before, or not knowingly. I hadn't seen a lot of it with Ethereum. I'd seen it in Bitcoin. and figured out that they looked identical, that it's just all about network adoption. And then I started moving into Ethereum and eventually realized that I think Ethereum has a much faster network adoption than Bitcoin. There's more developers, there's more apps, there's more volume of people using it, even the volumes of it. So I started overweighting Ethereum. Then I wanted to get exposure to, because you get something called alt season, which is anything other than Bitcoin tends to outperform in the teeth of a bull market. So I thought, okay, I want exposure to that, but I have no idea what to buy. So I just took an equally weighted basket of 10 different large protocols, exchanges, DeFi, broad mix, and just blindly put those on without, no things. I'd also written about XRP quite a lot as well, because I also saw back in December with the news flow and the hatred around XRP from Bitcoin maximalists that I could sense an opportunity in that too. And I figured that the probability of them winning the lawsuit was going to be reasonably high with some sort of fine and settlement, and that therefore the risk reward was pretty explosive to the upside. So I did a bit of that as well, which I don't own currently any right now. And then I started layering in more macro bets on where I thought the space was going. So trying to be more intelligent than just a basket. I've still kept the basket. And my bets are moving towards the metaverse and social tokens, community tokens, which I think are going to be hugely disruptive business model. And I think the metaverse is where everything is going. So that's kind of how I played it. So I'm now roughly 25% Bitcoin, 55% Ethereum, and 20% in all the other stuff. And one of the key things to realize is we're all just trying to figure it out. And people are just different parts of their journey of figuring it out. And nobody knows everything. And once you realize that, it gives you confidence to say, well, this is how I see it. As long as you never speak in terms of truths, like this is how it is. But it's, well, I see it this way, and this is how I'm thinking through this. A, you get iterative feedback from people that teaches you more as you go. But secondly, it means you're not scared of being wrong. And the moment that gives you confidence is the moment you realize that everybody is equally valid in their perspectives. And the more perspectives that you get back to you, and somebody goes, actually, you're wrong about that because of this, you either strengthen your argument, say, actually, no, maybe I'm right. Or you say, yeah, you're right. I've just learned from that. And that's brilliant. So a lot of people think they should have a fear about not knowing stuff. And I think the fear is not being inquisitive. If you're not inquisitive, then you're definitely going to fail. If you're inquisitive, you can take on the world.